Good evening. The government announced today it will put on sale 8 residential plots of land between October and December. The plots are expected to generate 3,300 flats. Evelina Leung reports.
In the third quarter of the current financial year, 8 plots of land slated for residential use will be sold by tender. 4 of these sites are in Tuen Mun, 3 in Kai Tak, and 1 in Fo Tan.
Out of these 8 sites, 5 sites will be with a minimum flat number production requirement. That shows the government's determination in supplying small to medium-sized units to the market.
The 8 plots will generate 3,300 flats, and about 8,200 units are expected to become available in the fourth quarter of the 2013 to 2014 fiscal year from various MTR projects. Still, questions remain on whether the government's full-year target of 13,600 new flats will be met.
The target land supply for private sector of the government is on average 20,000 units a year. This composes different sources. Government land sale, railway development projects, urban renewal authority projects, lease modifications, as well as private sector redevelopment. So we cannot just focus on government land sale.
Meanwhile, legislators are discussing suggestions made by the Long-Term Housing Strategy Steering Committee to meet Hong Kong's housing demand. The committee has proposed a target of 470,000 new flats in the next 10 years. But some legislators fear this target may not be able to meet the population growth.
Your 470,000 is underestimate. In the last LTHS under Mr. Tung Chee-hwa, the figure was 850,000. The population at the time was about 6.5 million. We now have more than 7 million people in Hong Kong. In the past, we had a smaller population and we had less people in a household. Now we have a larger population and more family members in a household. In the past, we needed 850,000, and now you are assessing some 470,000. So, are you trying to say that Mr. Tung Chee-hwa's figures were incorrect?
In response, Housing Chief Anthony Jiang insisted the committee's estimate is reasonable. He also stressed the government will strike a balance between building new flats and people's living environment, such as public transport and communal facilities. The public consultation period for the Long-Term Housing Strategy Steering Committee's proposal will end in December. The committee is expected to submit a report to the government early next year. Evelina Leung, TVB News.
The State Council today announced its long-awaited plans for the Shanghai Free Trade Zone. Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying stressed Hong Kong doesn't need to worry as long as it grabs hold of opportunities for continued development. 2 days before the landmark Free Trade Zone is to be officially opened, the State Council published detailed plans for the pioneering move to open up this special part of Shanghai. The zone will see freer convertibility of the renminbi, as well as cross-border capital flows and the liberalization of interest rates. Looser regulations will allow foreign investors to set up a range of companies, including banks and insurers. And Chinese-funded banks will be able to set up offshore services there. No specific time frame has been given for the implementation of these reforms, although they're expected to be carried out within the next 2 or 3 years. The document, published on the State Council's website this afternoon, didn't mention the lifting of a ban on foreign websites in the zone, as reported earlier by foreign media. However, there is a clause that states foreign companies may be allowed to offer specialized telecommunications services, and that services that violate existing Chinese laws may be granted permission on a case-by-case basis. The State Council will announce a list of what won't be allowed in the zone at a later date. At an economic forum, Wu Xiaoling, National People's Congress Financial and Economic Affairs Deputy Director, said the free trade zone is an indication of the mainland's future reforms, a systemic plan that may be implemented nationwide later on. She said although other places were considered by the NPC, the focus is now on experimenting in Shanghai only. Meanwhile, Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying stressed today he has faith in Hong Kong's economic development amid concerns about the impact of the Shanghai Free Trade Zone on the territory. Speaking during a trip to Chongqing, Leung said many people have focused on political reform over the past year, but that Hong Kong has to make sure it doesn't miss any opportunities to improve its competitive edge. And on electoral reform, Leung said there's not enough time to change the basic law now, so all discussions on the 2017 chief executive election should focus on solutions that are within the framework of Hong Kong's mini-constitution.
The government has come under fire for failing to take ethnic minorities into consideration while trying to establish Hong Kong's first poverty line. Rani Samtani has the story.
Coming up with an official poverty line has been a top priority for the Commission on Poverty. Along with defining the poverty line, the Commission will provide statistics on various people, such as the elderly, new migrants, and single-parent families to assist in policy making. But one group is notably absent: ethnic minorities.
This is only one of the examples that, the government is seriously lack of racial and cultural sensitivities. And yet again reflects the government seems not including ethnic minorities as part of Hong Kong.
It is hoped that the poverty line will serve as a guideline for coming up with poverty alleviation policies. But because ethnic minorities have been excluded, Wong fears that strategies to tackle poverty will not apply to them.
First of all, when they set up the poverty line, the ethnic minority communities never been consulted. And also, you see that there is no ethnic minorities representative, in the commission.
Wong suggests that the government conduct a study on the situation facing ethnic minorities so that officials can devise strategies that will help them as well. When the poverty line is officially unveiled tomorrow, the Commission on Poverty is also expected to introduce an apprentice program to assist young people aged between 16 and 25 who come from low-income families. The business community believes this is a more realistic and forward-thinking approach than simply offering them subsidies.
The business sector, really has the resources, but more importantly, the skills, to help, provide guidance to the young people so that they become more knowledgeable about what options are open to them, in terms of their careers, and also in terms of, motivating them as well.
Wong says this will help young people become more self-reliant and in the long term will help improve their quality of living. Rani Samtani, TVB News.
US and European diplomats have welcomed what they called a significant shift in Iran's attitude during talks aimed at resolving the impasse over Tehran's disputed nuclear program. Following the meeting, the United States and Iran had their highest-level official talks in almost 35 years. Alan Buchnier has more.
Iran's Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif met with the foreign policy chiefs of the United States, Britain, France, Russia, China, and Germany. Following the meeting, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said it represented a good first step.
We had a constructive meeting, and I think all of us were pleased that Foreign Minister Zarif came and made a presentation to us which was very different in tone and very different in the vision that he held out with respect to the possibilities of the future.
Zarif said Iran's main goal is to have international sanctions lifted as soon as possible by proving his country is not interested in making a nuclear weapon.
We hope to be able to make progress towards resolving this issue in a timely fashion, based on respecting the rights of the Iranian people to nuclear technology for peaceful purposes, including enrichment, and at the same time making sure that there is no concern at the international level that Iran's nuclear program is anything but peaceful.
Zarif also said his 30-minute bilateral session with Kerry was a constructive first step. Also on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly, Iranian President Hassan Rouhani met with UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. Rouhani said he hopes the nuclear talks can come to a resolution within 3 to 6 months. He also called for worldwide disarmament of nuclear weapons, saying there are no right hands for these wrong weapons. Alan Booknia, TVB News.
Welcome back. The Town Planning Board today approved a change in land use in a plot in Mui Wo today. It will now be used to build home ownership scheme flats. Vicky Kung has more.
The piece of land in question lies next to Mui Wo Fire Station and Ngan Wan Estate. The area has been left barren since the 1970s after the government tore down temporary housing units there. It was earmarked for government, institution or community use until the announcement by the Town Planning Board today. This will be followed by a public consultation. If approved, 2 blocks that offer 460 home ownership scheme flats will be built. They could be completed in 2017. Authorities hope the extra flats could house 1,500 people.
It would be great. More people moving here. It's a great island. Everybody's friendly.
A district councillor and some restaurant owners we talked to today also welcomed the arrangement. They hope a higher pedestrian flow may help improve the current transportation system by increasing the frequency of ferry rides to and from Lantau. Vicky Kong, TVB News.
Residential building collapsed today in India's financial capital of Mumbai. At least 3 people have been found dead and 16 others have been pulled out alive. Relatives of the missing wailed aloud as heavy machinery lifted the largest slabs of concrete away, where up to 90 people are believed to be trapped under the rubble. Dozens of rescue workers hacked away with crowbars at the flattened remains of what was once a 5-story building. Mumbai has already seen 2 similar disasters this year. At least 72 people died in April when an illegally built building collapsed.
Interpol has issued a wanted persons alert for a British-born woman at the request of Kenyan authorities. 29-year-old Samantha Luthwaite, a Muslim convert, is known as the White Widow because she was married to one of the suicide bombers involved in the 2005 attack on London's transit system. Interpol's alert said she's wanted in Kenya on charges of possession of explosives and conspiracy to commit a felony. Luthwaite was reportedly in South Africa in 2008 using an illegal passport. No mention was made in the alert of this week's deadly Nairobi Mall attack. Forensic experts from around the world are reconstructing events at the Nairobi Mall. Dozens were killed in the terrorist attack and 61 remain missing. I wonder if CY Leung is good at any sport.
Maybe we'll get a chance to find out. Let's get him out there.
That's the news for tonight. Thanks for watching.